Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Roan, a.k.a. the polo that I am wearing on today's show. Get 20% off your order by going to roan.com/chatsports and using code chatsports. We will discuss the Dak Prescott, Brian Schottenheimer relationship, Brandon Aubrey trade rumors somehow here, more coaching staff trackers as well. There is, of course, the NFC Championship game, a fun time for zero Cowboys fans. It's the Eagles and the Commanders. Who are you cheering for? E for the Eagles, C for the Commies, or A for an asteroid to hit? Get those votes in the comments of today's show. Let's talk the Dak Schottenheimer stuff out there. Multiple different reports indicate that Dak Prescott backed Brian Schottenheimer for the Cowboys head coaching job, which really shouldn't be that much of a surprise. I do think there is a lot to unpack here, both the process and the results, as it relates specifically to the Cowboys quarterback and their new head coach. I have zero doubts that Dak Prescott backed this move. That is who Dak Prescott is. He is, at times to a fault, the good soldier. He was supportive of Jason Whitten. He said he was upset when Kellen Moore left. He said he wanted Mike McCarthy back. He's backed Brian Schottenheimer. All of these things happened. I don't even know if that's necessarily a bad or a good thing, frankly. But to an extent, I do think your highly paid players should be heard. They should feel as if they have some semblance of a voice. That is a voice, not the voice. The players do not make the decision. Ask the Raiders how that worked out with Antonio Pierce last year. I am mostly fine with taking a mindset of, hey, this next hire should maximize Dak Prescott. It should maximize the offense. The Cowboys did not actually do that, though. Their approach was a mindset of comfort. Well, Dak knows Schotty, Schotty knows Dak, this makes sense. They didn't challenge themselves at any point to look outside the organization and say, hey, maybe there's an innovative young offensive mind that can do better things than what we've seen with this offense. And frankly, a mindset of comfort is not one this team deserves. Not the front office, not the players, not the training staff, not anybody involved in the Dallas Cowboys organization, because they haven't won anything in nearly 30 years. So if the goal is maximize Dak, they didn't try that. They might get the results. The process stunk. You've had several days to think about it. How do you feel about the Brian Schottenheimer hire? G for you think it's a good one. B for it's a bad one. W for the apathy is set in and you just go, who cares? It's the pinned comments on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Make no mistake. This was a Jones boys hire. This was Stephen Jones, I think Jerry Jones Jr. too, pushing Jerry to hire Brian Schottenheimer. This is their decision. And to an extent, this kind of already feels like the front office going, Dak wanted him, so we gave Dak what he wanted. It feels like the blame game is already being laid out by an organization that loves attention and dropped the coaching hire at almost 10 p.m. Eastern time. The process of having 4 interviews is my biggest problem with all of it. If you had interviewed 10 people and said, look, Schottenheimer blew us away, I could buy that. When you basically came down to Kellen or Schotty and still plenty of buzz that, maybe Kellen Moore didn't like the way things were going and didn't really want the job as maybe the way we all thought it was going to be going into it, it's a bad process. You want to maximize Dak. Awesome. Just running it back with the same offense, it might lead to good statistical success in the regular season. We care about preseason results. You needed a change. You needed to be a bit more risky. Just promoting the non-play calling OC doesn't really inspire confidence in that. And it already feels like it's the front office going, had to do it for Dak. No, you made the decision. I'm very curious how that press conference on Monday goes, by the way. I feel like they might say something similar to what I just said. Today's show is made possible by Roan. Starchy, stiff workwear is not optimal when you have to endure your busiest, most important days. I did like a Cowboys coaching search, but that didn't seem very busy from the Cowboys side of things. With the Commuter Collection, though, your clothing looks professional, performs like activewear, and feels like total comfort. They have premium pieces to elevate every occasion. We're talking most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos like I'm wearing today, and blazers, all boosted with functional performance properties. Rhone's signature technical fabrics stretch in every direction, breathe fight odor and the elements, and effortlessly work everywhere so you can stay calm and collected even if and when life takes unexpected turns. It's time for unparalleled confidence without all the hassle. Each piece in Rhone's commuter collection is made to coordinate and layer for an instantly elevated look. They've also got wrinkle release technology and gold fusion anti-odor technology. The commuter collection gets you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to Rhone.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS. Save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS. It's time to embody your most confident self. Here's an unexpected one. Brandon Aubrey. Trade rumors are here. Aubrey, in a podcast interview, said Bones Fassel told him he was going to try to trade for Aubrey now that Fassel is a member of the Titans. Here's what Aubrey said. Before signing his contract, he just calls all of his guys and says, hey, it's not you guys, it's whatever, and describes his decision-making process. He told me he's going to try and trade for me. I don't know if that's out of any sort of reality or whatnot, but he's a great dude, and we're going to miss him. Allow me to explain what happened here. Hey, don't get worked up over it. This doesn't really seem likely at all, especially for a Titans team that doesn't have very many viable draft picks. They've got no third rounder either. This is simply a coach telling a player how much he loves and appreciates and respects him of like, hey, I'm going to try to trade for you. That's what that is. This is not, and maybe a call is even placed. It's not going to go anywhere. And I also don't think the Titans organization that is trying to build an organization around their quarterback is like, yeah, Bones, we'll give you a premium asset to go trade for a kicker. That's not really how it's going to go because I don't think there's a better kicker in the game right now. He's got one more cheap year and then becomes very, very expensive. So let's have the hypothetical fun stuff here. What draft pick, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rounder, would it require from the Titans for you to actually consider trading away Brandon Aubrey? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Got some coaching staff tracker updates here. Again, as we mentioned in the immediate aftermath of the Schottenheimer hire, does sound like Matt Eberflus is going to come in as the next Cowboys defensive coordinator, and that would leave Mike Zimmer on the outside looking in. Brian Broaddus reported he talked to Zim, and Zim said he's not going to come back to the Cowboys staff under Schottenheimer. Which, good, bad, we'll find out. I don't know if Zimmer really wants to be coaching the same way. I think Zimmer was a little bit disappointed he didn't get a chance to be the next head coach of the Cowboys, which, I would have gone internal anyway, so it is what it is. I do expect Flus to be the hire for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the issue they ran into was they have to fulfill the Rooney Rule. 2 minority outside interview candidates are required. I don't think the NFL is going to let the Cowboys count Robert Saleh and Leslie Frazier as options there. Maybe they do what the Bears did and even bring back a candidate, Leslie Frazier, Bears did with David Shaw, to be the coordinator interview. Maybe they can find another one out there as well. Now, I'll say in general, I don't have many issues with the expected Eberflus defensive hire. He's been pretty good. The Bears' defense, when he took over, stunk. Down the stretch of 2023, before he got fired in 2024, the defenses were good. In fact, the overall for the defense, the Bears finished 27th and 13th in yards and points scored. And Flus was there for 12 games, and they cratered once he left. That 2023 run, the defense it was a top 10 defense down the stretch. Once they got Montez Sweat, the defense had enough pieces, and it was really good. In Indy, Flus was a really good defensive coordinator. Teams were pretty consistently top 10 in points per game. That's all great. I'm actually a bit surprised it went so quickly. I think there was some mending of the fences that had to be done between Flus and the Cowboys organization because the Cowboys kind of blocked Flus from leaving previously, and that didn't go over that well until he was out of a contract. But I guess those bridges were mended based on literally all of the reports out there. So what is your confidence level in Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator? Scale it from 1 to 10 in the comments of today's show. Next up, maybe there won't be Jason Whitten on this Cowboys coaching staff. Jane Slater says, Jerry and Whitten talked, but maybe Whitten ends up not being on this Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. Whitt's kids are still in high school. He's done a very good job as the high school coach down there at the Liberty or Argyle Liberty Christian, Liberty Christian, whatever. Uh, I I like Whitten. Think he could be a good coach one day. I hope he's not forced upon Schottenheimer because that was a lot of the buzz going into this. Of Mike was like, I'm not doing this, and I don't know if it'd been floated to guys like Kellen and whatnot there. I do. If you're hiring Brian Schottenheimer, he needs to have actual power over his coaching staff. Just letting the Jones boys pick it, which, to be honest, they clearly did that with Eberflus too. Which that one, the results I feel better about. But the process remains not very good. I don't want to force coaches onto Schottenheimer's staff. I'd like him to have some influence there. A lot of it, because he's the head coach. One thing to monitor, by the way, I would not be shocked if Lundo Wells, currently the tight ends coach for the Cowboys, with a mostly background as an offensive lineman. He's been an assistant O-line coach. He played offensive line. I would not be surprised. In fact, I'd actually be fully on board if he takes the O-line coach job. That would leave a tight ends coach position open, though, for somebody like Jason Whitten. We will have all the Cowboys off-season coverage you could want. We will have coaching staff breakdowns for you to tell you who these guys are. We will be live on a Monday for the Brian Schottenhemer press conference, and our comment section will be open. Something tells me the Dallas Cowboys YouTube will not be. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Finally, is this going to be your next special teams coordinator? The Dallas Cowboys interviewed longtime NFL player and Broncos assistant special teams coach Chris Banjo. Now, Banjo's got no direct ties to the Cowboys at all, although he is coaching under Sean Payton, and maybe they call it a buddy on that front. Also played for Mike McCarthy, which made it kind of funny. I don't know if he's going to be the guy or not. He's a young option. Got to replace Bones Fassel. So we'll see, but Banjo is the first known name for the special teams coordinator job that is currently open.